take your order?
55 shooters, 55 swaps, 55 souls likes, 55 indie games, 55 porno, 100 one click, 100 VR, 100 roguelike, 100 roguelite, 100 farm sim, 55 stealth, 55 PvP, 55 co-op, 55 bullet hell, and 155 platformers.
Okay, that will be $13.46.
Okay.
The Steam Summer Sale just started and I have some games I want to recommend to you. The best part is that they're all less than $5 each. My aim is to highlight underrated games that often go unnoticed, so you might stumble across something here that you would have otherwise missed. You could probably just sell all those Steam trading cards that have been collecting dust in your inventory and use all the earnings from that to grab one of these games without spending any money out of pocket at all. Alright, now let's just get on to the first one. Jazzpunk is a hilarious walking sim that combines some cyberpunk elements and 60s spy adventure vibes, and I love it. In Jazzpunk, you'll find yourself completing odd tasks, but the real magic here lies in the abundance of optional content. As you dive into the missions, I was impressed by the sheer number of gags and jokes hidden in every nook and corner as you poke and prod around. Comedy games are a really tough nut to crack, but Jazzpunk really worked for me. It's one of those rare gems that deploys some simple non-sequitur gags that really had me cracking up. The game oozes style with its mid-century modern presentation, and even when the occasional joke misses the mark, I couldn't help but remain head over heels in love with this game's offbeat world. If you're a fan of movies like Naked Gun, or you could just go for a simple laugh, I highly recommend Jazzpunk. The game pulls off a zany spirit and offbeat sense of humor, which is pretty tough to nail. It's a unique and stylish adventure filled to the brim with clever gags and a delightful sense of humor. If you're up for a game set in the Wild West, you should pick up Call of Juarez Gunslinger. It's an arcadey first-person shooter that's packed with style and presentation that will keep you hooked. Alright, so picture this. You're playing a Western first-person shooter, and while you play, the story is guided by a drunken bounty hunter at the end of his adventures in a saloon. He's spinning tales of the Old West with unreliable narration, and it transforms the world around you. It's also a bit like Forrest Gump meets the Wild West, because as he weaves his story, legendary figures like Jesse James and Butch Cassidy happen to pass through his life. But let's not forget about the gameplay itself. It's a pure video game-ass video game. With its pulpy goodness, you'll find yourself relishing in slow motion and landing incredibly satisfying headshots. The perk trees also provide a sense of progression and customization that adds to the depth of the action. Visually, the game is styled with a cel-shaded look, and it goes to show how that sense of style really helps your game age really well. And I think the best part here is that the game is relatively short. It doesn't waste a single moment of your time. It's a dense experience that really keeps you engaged start to finish. I highly recommend Call of Juarez Gunslinger. It's a high-octane journey through the Wild West that offers a perfect blend of style, storytelling, and gameplay. You know what? Here's a Steam key for it. First person to enter it gets the game, I guess. I just happen to have an extra key laying around. If you get it, leave a comment saying that you got it so we know. My Friend Pedro is a super fun 2D shooter that's all about bullet time. If you're a fan of movies like John Wick or The Matrix, you're gonna love this one. Now, story-wise, it's nothing groundbreaking, but that's not really the main attraction here. The gameplay is really where it's at. It boils down to bullet time, more bullet time. You get to pull off these incredibly awesome and satisfying air diving kills while doing Hotline Miami-like raids on different complexes full of enemies. It's all about racking up a high score, but honestly, as long as I kept a combo flowing smoothly, I was having a blast. And let me tell you, using a mid-air cast iron skillet to ricochet bullets off and take enemies out is just pure joy. I will admit though, the animations can get a bit wonky because they're all dynamic, but I think it's a necessary trade-off because it leads to some really unexpected and unpredictable moments that make the combat system truly worth it. I do have to mention though that the boss fights and more restrictive areas can get a bit frustrating, But overall, I still recommend giving this game a shot. It's a thrilling game that will definitely get your adrenaline pumping. The Mad Max game faced some pretty tough competition when it was released, overshadowed by and released the same day as Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. As someone who isn't even a die-hard Mad Max fan nor a car enthusiast, it's saying something that I'm here recommending this game. But let me tell you, it's really worth your attention. First off, this is an open-world driving game that nails atmosphere. It was developed by the same team behind the Just Cause games, and you can definitely see their expertise shining through. The destructibility of the environment and the incredible sound design add so much to this experience. As for the story, don't expect a groundbreaking narrative here, but it's not terrible either. It's not directly tied into Fury Road, despite a few references here and there. The game focuses on Max and his new companion, Chumbucket, as they embark on a journey to reach Gastown. Chumbucket plays the role of your mechanic, and he literally worships engines. He hangs onto the back of your car, the Magnum Opus, and if you run into trouble, he can fix the car on the fly, or even help you tear apart enemy vehicles with grappling hooks. The thrill of ramming and shunting at high speeds, combined with the powerful growling of the engines and the intense winds, makes the gameplay incredibly engrossing. And it's not just all about driving. There are some enjoyable on-foot sections as well. The game borrows the combat mechanics from Warner's other major series at the time, the Batman Arkham games. Even if you're not a fan of the Mad Max series, I highly recommend giving this game a shot. The impressive open world, the adrenaline-fueled car combat, and the solid gameplay mechanics really make a truly engaging experience.
Let's do it.
Huntdown is a 2D side-scrolling shooter that is reminiscent of Contra. And while I'm not the biggest Contra fan out there, this game totally won me over. It's got this 80s cyberpunk vibe that's similar to something like RoboCop vs. Terminator, that being the Genesis side-scrolling shooter that I have a really big soft spot for. And if you're into pretty mindless blasting and non-stop action, this game is perfect. Personally, I played it as a second screen game on my Steam Deck while watching TV, and it fit the role of that sort of game perfectly. Now, I'll be honest that the bosses gave me a bit of trouble during my playthrough, but once I figured out the right tactics to take them down, it was super satisfying and rewarding. The pixel art in this game is absolutely gorgeous. The mission briefings before each level are a nice touch too, giving the pixel artists a chance to really flex their skills. So yeah, I definitely recommend giving Huntdown a shot. Gato Roboto is a no-frills, stripped-down Metroidvania game that I really enjoyed. In this game, you play as Kiki, the cat companion of a stranded space adventurer. Since he's stuck in his spaceship, it's up to you to save the day. You'll don a suit of Samus-like power armor and venture out to explore the planet, searching for power-ups in true Metroidvania style. I particularly loved the charming 1-bit aesthetic of the game. And here's the cool part, is that if you're not a fan of the default color choices, you can switch to different palettes to customize the visuals to your own liking. It's a nice touch that lets you make the game even more enjoyable for yourself. Now, I'll be honest, Gato Roboto isn't breaking any new ground in terms of innovation, but if you're looking for a solid Metroidvania experience with a charming vibe, I definitely recommend giving it a go. It's a fun adventure that'll scratch the exploration itch. Deadbolt is one of those games that is hard to pin down a specific genre, but I guess I'd describe it as a infiltration strategy stealth action game. If you really enjoy games like Gunpoint, Hotline Miami, or even Hitman, then this one might be right up your alley. I suppose it's sort of a subgenre of the immersive sim. In Deadbolt, you take the role of a Reaper whose mission is to eliminate the undead forces that have cheated death. I know it's not the most original premise, but it gets the job done, right? Each level presents you with a side view of a complex or base filled with enemies, and your goal is to either take them all out or retrieve some crucial bit of intel. It's a stealth game that rewards careful planning and manipulating the AI of your targets. Visually, I really love the pixel art designs of the different factions of otherworldly ghouls. From zombies to vampires, they all have this grounded, realistic take on classic tropes, and it adds depth to the game's atmosphere. All in all, I highly recommend giving Deadbolt a shot. It's a thrilling experience that combines strategy, action, stealth in a rare way that I wish I saw more often. I hope you found something here that you're excited to grab. If you enjoyed this video, I've got a bunch of others that I think you'd also enjoy too. Take a look and subscribe if you want to explore more hidden gems and uncover games that you might have otherwise missed. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Thank you for watching.